Hi creatives, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Creative Light. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make a bandless and a dartless high-waist pencil skirt with boot contour and overlap slits. Let's get started. The first thing to do is to mark 1 inch as your starting line, right? Just mark 1 inch, then connect the points. So this line here, the starting line will be the waist measurement since it's a high waist skirt, right? So that line, you divide your hip circumference, that's the highest part of your lower part of your body, right? You divide it by 2 and add 2 inches to it, right? So that is what you're going to mark down in order to get a straight line. Your hip divided by 2 plus 2 inches, right? So you mark it down up to the skirt length. The skirt is a long skirt, so I had to add paper to it. So from that waist, you measure your skirt length. My skirt length is 42, right? So I measured it from the waist so that I can get a straight line. I still measure the 42 inches again so that I can get a straight line from that point. At that 42 inches length, I measured the 22 inches so that I can get a box. Then I connected the points. Then the length, I also connected the skirt length. I labeled it skirt length. After that, you divide this box here now into 2, right? You just divide it into 2. I had 22 inches, then I divided it into 2 and I got 11 inches, right? So whatsoever your measurement is, you're just going to divide it by 2, right? Then connect the points. The next measurement to take is the waist to hip line, right? So whatsoever your waist to hip line is, you mark it, right? Then the next measurement is waist to knee. You mark it. Then you connect the hip line for the front and the back, right? Also connect the knee line, the front and the back. I labeled it new. Right? So from that new point, you go up by 2 inches or 3 inches, right? You don't contour exactly on your new line so that you can be able to move, right? You go up by 2 or 3 inches from your new point. Then you label that point above new, right? Label the hips, The top line, the starting line, like I said, is the waist line, right? So now I want to work on the front. On that waist line, you divide your waist by 4 and mark it. On the hip line, you divide your hip by 4 and mark it, right? So above the nail, for you to contour it, you can reduce the hip measurement by 2, right, or 1.5. So I reduced my hip measurement by 2 inches and I marked it on that above nail. I also marked same measurements on the nail. Then for the hem, the skirt length, you can do that same 2 inches that you subtracted, or you do 2.5. For me, I did 2.5. I hope you understand me. Then I connected the nail to the skirt length, right, with a straight rule, and also the above nail to nail. Then for the hips to the above nail, you're going to use your curve, right? See the way I placed my curve. You're just going to connect your hips to your above nail, right? Then I also turned the curve. See the way I placed the curve. Then you connect your waist to your hip, right? So I labeled this place front, then the other side back. For the front, to avoid folds at that tummy area, that waist area, you go down by 1 inch, right? Then you connect it to the waist line, right? The side waist. So that's basically it for the front pattern. We move on to the back pattern. So for the back pattern, for us to have a contoured boot on the waistline, you go in by 1 inch, right? Then you put your waist measurement, the waist measurement you have for your front. On the hip, you put your hip measurements, right? That's hip divided by 4. Remember, for the front, we contoured that above nail by 2 inches, right? So for the back, that 2 inches, we are going to divide that 2 inches for the center back and the side back. I hope you understand. So on that center back, I already marked 1 inch. Then the above nail measurement, just to make it easy, I'm just going to put it, what I have for the front, I'm just going to put it after I marked 1 inch. I hope you understand. I'll do same thing. I'll mark the 1 inch, right? Then put that new measurement. So for the back, remember it was 2.5. For the center back, you're going to take out 1 inch. Then get your skirt length measurement and put there. It was already contoured, right? So I'm just going to put there. But if you don't want to do it this way, your hip measurement, you're just going to take it down, then do your subtraction. I hope you understand me. But this way I did it is very simple, right? Then I connected the lines, the center back line from the skirt length to nail and above nail. Then from the waist to the hips, right? See the way I kept the curve. Then I turned the curve so that I can connect the above knee to the hips. Can you see that this place now is the center back? See, it has that bomb effect already, right? So for the side back, I'm going to connect the hips to the waist, then hips to above knee, right? Above knee to knee with a straight line, with a straight curve rather, then knee to the skirt length. So right now the skirt pattern is ready, but for this pattern we are adding an overlap, right? An overlap slit to the pattern. So on the new point, right, you go up by 5, 6 or 7 inches for your slit opening, right? For me, I use 7 inches for the slit opening, right? On that point, my overlap, I used 3 inches. You can use 4 inches, right? Or 2.5 for your overlap. Then on the hem of the skirt, from that 1 inch you went in from, you measure 3 inches. I hope you understand me. Then you connect it to the slit opening. You connect the up too. So right now our overlap is ready. I've included the overlap to the pattern, right? For me, I like adding my zip allowance to my pattern, right? So for the zip allowance, it's 1 inch. Already from that waist point where I came in by 1 inch is the 1 inch, right? So on that overlap, I came out by 1 inch. On the hips, I came out by 1 inch, right? Then I connected the waist to the hip, that 1 inch. And I also connected the hip to that overlap, the beginning of the overlap. See the way I kept the curve? That's the way you're going to keep your curve, right? So this is the zip allowance. Assuming you don't want an overlap, right? You're going to connect from the hips to the above knee, right? See the way I place the curve? You're just going to connect it. I'm using a red mark, a red pen, right? So that I'll just make dotted lines because I want an overlap. Then you connect it to the nail. It's already 1 inch from that point, right? So that is just going to be your zip allowance, right? So the next thing to do is to cut out. I'm going to cut from those points to this place and the waist, right? Then for the back, I'm going to cut the side back, the hem, the overlap. See the way I'm going to cut it. Then the waist. So our pattern is ready. This is the front and the back together. All right, if you found this video useful, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. If you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos.